Good evening, everybody. On a rare, no, I don't know, I don't want to call it rare Monday night, right? We are here live streaming. We're back to live streaming. I always say it's pretty dangerous because there's always something that happens, but I have confidence that we're not going to have any technical issues tonight that always bite me in the butt. I'm really excited for this episode. This is why we've done it a little bit different here than typically either here in Zoom or out in location or one of the many things. But this is going to be different, something we haven't done before. So our guest is going to be in our inaugural, is that a word? Uh, our inaugural show that we're going to have set up here tonight. So we're going to be a little bit of our normal podcast. We're going to do a little bit of also some performance and answer some questions in the chat here. So let me introduce to the podcast Sara Maatouk. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Well, Sara Maatouk. It was
Maatouk.
close. That was good. That was good. Hi everyone.
So yeah, there we go. I'm taking the job away from my producer here. So before we get started here, Sara, and then why I'll tell everybody why you're on the podcast, right? And I think when you filled out the questionnaire, usually ask, are you a drummer or a rummer, right? And I think you answered that you're neither, but you're not a drummer, but you're definitely, I think, more the rummer, right?
More of a rummer.
Yeah. So before we
I
get
do.
too started, of course we've got to do this here. So I do have to make sure my off-camera help is always well fed and lubricated. That sounded weird, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little cocktail here. So do you got a cocktail you're enjoying here tonight, Sara?
I got a pina colada.
Oh, nice.
And it has rum in it.
Of course, it's got to have rum. We might have ended up stopping the podcast because of that, Sarah. But there's a reason why for those of you tuning in. And again, I'm having a little trouble here. I think I may have it. There we go. There we go. So I am enjoying some. Get that off my hand. I am enjoying some Rock Sound rum, smoked coconut. We just brought it back from Austin. I was there last weekend, past weekend, some of you may know. So let's see if we can get that cork pop. Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So this is a smoked coconut rum made by Rock Sound Rum. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up here with some of our good friends from Club Tiki. And Club Tiki makes a cocktail in a can. And this is a Blue Hawaii. Again, we're trying something new here. So hopefully this works out pretty well. Oop, making a mess. All right. This is the way to start a show, right? Let's get our cocktails in order. All right. There you go. All right. Here we go. So cheers, Sara.
Cheers.
Let's do this here. So we got a few folks here tuning in here. So just real quick, a quick shout out there. So the man who is the one who told me, and I had to text him the next morning after we were down in Miami. For those that are listening and watching, you already may know that we were down in Miami a couple weekends ago for a Miami. We have a Florida Rum Society, Sara. And we have a bunch of folks from all over Florida. They're in this group, and you're more than welcome to also join. And they enjoy rum, enjoy meetups, and share lots of different things. And there's a lot of great education. And we were at this event on Saturday night, and Greg, who's there in the chat, him and I hit it off real well, and we're both musicians and so forth. And he tells you, oh, you need to check out Sara. She's got a song. It's called Rum, and so on and so forth. The next morning, again, he tells me this. Well, we're all drinking rum all day, and I text him, I'm like, hey, why is this song in my playlist on my phone? I'm like, I'm like, I want to at least give credit because I'm like, holy cow! I said, this song is awesome. So first off, yes. So for those who
Thank
don't
you.
know, again, Sarah is a soloist, singer, songwriter, musician. I think you actually have quite a few things here. Mother, entrepreneur. Um, I know there's a whole bunch of other things there. Yeah. So, and also the writer of a song called Rum. So awesome. So cheers. And
Cheers. Thank you.
so how did you get into, I guess, music?
Well, I kept it secret for a long time that I was actually writing songs. I always loved music growing up. I listened to rock and roll, all kinds of music. My parents even would play classical music. I really listened to everything. But when I was 12 years old, I wrote my first song. And I remember I showed my mother, I showed her from beginning to end. I had it memorized and I told her, Mom, I wrote this. And she was like, that's really good. And I never really thought anything of it. I just thought, well, I wrote a song and I like it. And then from age 12 and up, I just kept writing and writing. I would get a piece of paper and all of a sudden it would just have words on it and it was a song. And I still do that now, but I kept it secret for years. And I finally released my first song. I think it was 2018. Rum came out. Yeah, I released Rum first. It's not the first song that I ever wrote, but it's the first song that I ever released and shared on social media and all the music platforms. And I just, I love writing. They just come to me. I love music and writing songs and lyrics and poetry.
So do you do a lot of writing? Do you do any writing for anyone else?
I have, I do. I have been asked to do some collabs with other artists. I am featured in a hip hop song with Time Flex. He's a music producer that messaged me on Instagram. That's how he found me on Instagram. And some other producers message me and say, hey, can you write for this track or can you do this? And I'm up for projects, but I have so many songs that I've written that I'm like dying to record and get out because I want to share my music with everyone that's like down to listen to it.
No, that's that's where the money is, right? Is songwriting.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a songwriter. That's what I'm told. I don't know. So, I mean,
I would love to write for I have a lot of songs written. I mean, if you go through my notes, they're all songs. You'd be like, what are you writing down? Like they're all songs. I could just be hanging out with friends and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I better write this down because like there's just lyrics going in my head playing and it's a full-on song. So I'll just write it down in my notes or write it on a notepad, or sometimes I just memorize it and I'll have it stuck in my head until it's done and then I'll write it down.
cool. The so 2018. So you wouldn't call it like a later. Well, again, like you said, you've kept it very to yourself, and I think a lot of artists, musicians are like that. They're very conscious about their creation, whether it's like poetry or painting or music, right? So, so did you grow up? Was it mostly a music family, or
I would say my family, there are a lot of musicians, like on my mom. So my mom has eight brothers, and they all speak multiple languages and sing or dance or write music as well. My dad also, he used to like to sing and he liked rock, but he was deaf. So that's another reason why I kept it secret was because I guess I didn't share. I wasn't like all about me all the time. It was always about someone else in the family. It was never really like about me that much. So I kind of just kept it secret. And then so every now and then I'd be like, I'm going to throw a concert, growing up as a little girl, I'd be like, I'm going to throw a concert for everyone. And everyone would get together in the living room and I'd just throw a concert and entertain everyone. Or if my mom would have a party, I'd be like, okay, concert at this time. We're doing a concert.
no?
So I've been
That's great to have. Definitely a family that's supportive of that, right?
Oh, definitely.
Mo-
Like, what are you doing next?
and most, of course, for most drummers or anyone who's doing, learning an instrument very early on, it's very painful on the ears for anyone that's in your house when you're learning the a certain instrument if you don't have a certain space. Like we're all given the recorder in elementary school, and it's about the worst sound. And trying to learn how to play the thing. So um so so let's. Do you want to jump into a song?
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
All right.
I wanted to sing Metro is one of my favorite ones. I mean, Rum is a lot of people's favorite one. Metro is one of my personal favorites, especially because it has the trumpet in the beginning. It's a little jazzy. I want to start with that one.
All right. It's all yours.
Oh, awesome.
All right. So while Sarah gets queued up there, just want to remind everybody to check out check out our website
FM mode.
and
Bluetooth mode.
check out her
That?
website, check out YouTube and her tracks and download them. Support your musicians. You all set?
Here we go. It's Metro. I talk to myself in the metro. I move my lips and don't say a thing. Sometimes I may stutter. Sometimes I may sing. But I'm always alone in the metro. 'Cause that's just what it's like. I don't need nobody. You should take a hike. Yes, I may smell rotten and only have a few teeth, but whether you know it or not, you'll always remember me. I'll be in your subconscious. You'll dream of me all night. I may even haunt you for not giving me a bite. So next time you see me in the metro, I hope you remember my place. Give me what I plead for, and then get out of my face. I like to be alone in the metro. Rush hour drives me insane. The only thing I like about it is I make enough dough to ease my brain. I talk to myself in the metro, or move my lips and don't say a thing. Sometimes I may stutter, sometimes I may sing, but I'm always alone in the metro, 'cause that's just what it's like. I don't need nobody. You should take a hike.
All right. All right. That is so we had a question. We had a question from the chat, Mr. Greg, and as I said, he's the guy who turned me on to, or to check out your music, and then one of the things I think I forgot to mention was he plays, I guess, the song before every rum meeting he has with his group. So you're like the rum anthem, the rum thumb. Is that a word? We just made
That's
up a new word.
awesome.
So, um, so he had a question. As a songwriter, what comes first for you? Lyrics, melody, or chordal structure?
That's actually a really good question. Um, because a lot of people freak out when I answer it, but it kind of comes all together when I'm writing. For example, when I wrote that song, Metro, I wrote it like in 2 minutes. I was writing it like in my notepad, like I talk to myself in the metro, move my lips and don't say a thing. I was literally writing it how it's gonna be sung. And then that happens a lot with a lot of almost all my songs. It just comes out like that.
So it sounds like you have a very good internal rhythm and beat, I guess, to how your cadence of your songs, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I could feel it sometimes. Like for most of my songs that I have out, I didn't have any music for a long time. I just sang them a cappella, and that's how I wrote them. So whenever it came to hearing them with music, it was like, whoa, that's a different song. It totally changed. It's totally different with when you add the music, because when I was singing it originally, just the lyrics with my own melody, and it sounds I like it a lot with the music,
Cool.
but it's a whole different song than what I wrote.
Yeah, and right, and that's the as right when you're a songwriter and you're a soloist and you're coming up with the song and you have an idea in your head, trying to translate it to musicians, right? The rest of the accompaniment, and it's again some of the song. Well, if I don't know if you got a chance to see the Beatles documentary, right? And they went the Get Back documentary. They're all sitting in there and they've Paul's got this song in his head, how he sees it, and trying to explain it to the other three Beatles, right, and so forth. So it's kind of interesting. So, um, here's another question there: who are some of your musical influences? Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. So some of my musical influences. I would say my dad is definitely one of my musical influences, because he would always be singing songs, but what he would play for me was like Foreigner and Scorpions, and he would play all that music, so I know all the words to all that stuff. But when it comes like to my music, I feel like it's nothing like the music that I listen to. I I don't know if there's any way I could relate my music to an artist that I like, but my musical influence would have to be. I mean, I would listen to all kinds of 70s and 80s music.
And now, how did your I guess your vocal style get developed?
Hmm, my vocal
Yeah,
style. I re-
I mean, I guess you were talking about in comparison to growing up on it, like all kids do. We all get uh, subjugated to listening to our parents' music, right?
yeah.
And so obviously, you said the Scorpions and Foreigner. You're obviously not singing hair metal, right? Rock and roll
Yeah.
there, right? And I think all your music is very, as if others haven't seen by now, on Sarah's hoodie there with Soulful Sara. So I guess is that the so yeah, I mean, how did you develop that soulful voice after being, rockized, I guess?
So what would happen is that I would write a lot, and I started sharing at like parties. I would go to get-togethers and parties a lot in high school and college. And whenever it would come down to it, where everyone's just hanging out, and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to hear something I wrote?" And everyone would be like, "Yeah." So then I would kind of sing or entertain for a little bit, and then everyone started calling me. Well, a lot of people started saying, "Oh, Soulful Sara," because there's always more than one Sarah at the party or in the classroom, and oh, the soulful one, and then it just stuck. People would call me Soulful Sara, and it kind of just stuck because they say, man, that's so soulful. When I would sing a song, like, wow, that's soulful. And I guess it stuck. That was the word people used to describe my music many times.
The yeah, and so in some of the covers you've done is very some really powerful singers, and I think that's what I'm just drawn in by is again, it's not my typical wheelhouse, but I am very open to when you hear something really good, and it just again just the power of your voice, especially the rum song is why how we got there, and we're gonna get to it, folks. So you got to stay through to the end to hear the rum song, okay? But just to hear that, yeah, it's very powerful. That very powerful kind of elegant voice, and I think that same weekend, the next day, I went and posted the video from YouTube over in our social rum society group page, and yeah, everyone I was like, you got to check this out. And I think that was probably the same day. I think must have messaged you, and then I posted the video and I said I'm gonna have her on the podcast, and everyone was like, man, this is her voice, and so you got a lot of new fans. Again, thanks again, and we'll have to thank Greg Hill there for again it all as it takes one and then word of mouth and kind of get it out there, and you know how this world is now. It's the music industry is a lot different than what it was 30 years ago, 20 years ago. So, all right, oh, cool. So I got a few folks there. All right, I think that's all the questions. They're caught up there. I guess one of the questions that obviously we want to talk about, and for this episode that goes out on the podcast will be a week from tomorrow, and this is all part of our Women History Month, and invited Sara on because I wanted to have her tell her story, and so we talk a little bit about that. You're also, as I mentioned, an entrepreneur. You're a businesswoman, and so you have your own business on top of all the other things that you do, right?
So having a business is a lot of work. It's like having a baby because you have to start it brand new, and you have to work hard at it and make sure it's successful. And so my husband and I opened a business that he runs, and then I have a business which is Soulful Sara Hair Studio, and there I cut hair and I sing, and so I sing to my clients all the time, and I play music in there. I share my music. It's kind of like my spot to share music, and I love doing hair and making people feel good. So people come in and they leave feeling fresh, new haircut, new look, and new music they get to hear when I kind of have them as a captive audience. I'm like, okay, I have 20 minutes, 30 minutes with you in my chair. Hear this song.
you can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah. But yeah, being a business owner is definitely a lot of work, and it's a passion of mine. I dreamt it and did it. I literally dreamt it up. I was like, I want a mobile trailer that I can cut hair in, and if I ever need to go anywhere, I can take my trailer with me. Or I just imagined it all before I put it together.
Very cool. So the and obviously, like anything there's a lot of challenges too, right?
Definitely.
Being your own boss or starting your own thing, but it's also very gratifying too, right? Just like music.
Well, there's challenges. Right? You have to push yourself. You have to motivate yourself. You have to be on time. You have to make sure everything's up to date legally. You have to promote it on social media, and it's a long list of stuff to open a business, and you have to make sure everything's done accurately. It's great to be your own boss.
No, Now, how long have you had your business open?
I opened right before a pandemic hit, which is not that great because I came from South Texas, and I'm from McAllen, Texas, 956. And I I cut hair there for about 10 years. I had my clientele. I didn't have to get any new clients, and then moved and I have to meet everyone all over again, build new clientele. People have to trust you, hear
Mm.
about you. They want to see pictures of your work. And so starting over, it was literally starting over with nothing, like, hey, you want to let me cut your hair? Uh, so it's a challenge. And then I had to close down for the pandemic as well. So I'm not open full time. I've been focusing more on music and just taking a few appointments here and there. I've been trying to write more music instead.
The more people I seem to talk to, or there's so many, Sarah, there's so many stories that, whether it's guests that I've had on the podcast or talk to, other people, it's like, it just seems like everybody started something new just before the lockdown. And just like our guest, Judith DeBee, she's a distiller from the Netherlands, and her and her partner went all in on starting up a distiller, their dream, their vision, and she sold her house, she quit her job and said, this is what we want to do, this is what I want to do, and then went all in. And then the lockdown, and it was like, okay, now what do we do? How do we survive? How do we get through this? And some people were able to, and some people unfortunately were not. And I think there's an important thing that I've learned through the podcast, talking to guests. And again, it's just everyone is inspiring, right? It's almost nowadays you have to have a couple irons in the fire. You just can't be a one trick, stream, because you never know, that one stream can go away in an instant, and that's for some. That's unfortunately that's what happens. So, all right. So I know we've got a couple questions here. So we're going to go ahead and I'll read you the questions and from the chat. One of them is, I'm going to hold off to the end, Greg, because I'm not going to ask what her favorite rum is just yet, because we want to tie that into when we get closer to that song. But the question is, do you have any live gigs?
Any live gigs?
Yes.
So I currently do not. I was performing in San Antonio, Texas, about every other weekend at the Market Square. And then when I moved here, the pandemic hit, and I haven't had any gigs. Well, I had one gig when I first moved here, and then I was singing actually on the street on right outside of my salon. I set up a speaker and I would sing out there, and cars would beep and yell at me and stuff. But other than that, I don't have any live gigs currently.
Okay.
So I'm open to that, right, though.
So,
I definitely love performing.
All right, so there you go, Greg. Maybe you can talk Sarah into doing a tour up there in Virginia. So just some full disclosure, Greg is, like I said, a musician, and he's a bass player. So if you're looking for anybody to collab with, I'm sure Greg would be more than honored to collab with you on any project. So yeah, as you said, right, there's a whole lot of folks that are part of the Drums and Rums family, and I think most people tell me it's such an odd name. They don't go together, but it's like, well,
Drums and Rums.
But you have a community here and I talk a lot about this whole cycle of musicians relying on bars. Bars are trying to sell alcohol to make money, and so it's a whole virtuous cycle. And then if you shut down the bars, they can't sell booze. Musicians can't perform or make money, and it's so it's unfortunately a domino effect. So, with that being said, are you ready for song number 2?
Sure.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's get this on. Did it sound better without this?
Yeah.
Because I didn't use this.
Yeah. What do you think? Better. Yeah. I think it sounded better without it. So I think your voice carries really well. So.
Okay. Awesome. This song is Mermaid.
All right.
You would have left me in the sea. I'd swim and swim and you wouldn't walk for me. Slowly sinking, I waited, and time kept ticking. It had me thinking. You said life's no fairy tale. I can tell. I told you, grinning. I keep climbing, but I fell. I know because I'm sinking. Only 'cause I like to dance. I keep on living. I believe in true romance. For this I'm grieving. You would have left me in the sea. I'd swim and you wouldn't walk for me. Time kept ticking, it had me thinking. You would have left me in the sea. I'd swim and you wouldn't walk for me. I'd swim and you wouldn't walk for me.
Hey, all right. You definitely, yeah. It's a definitely get into. That's awesome. In the jamming out there. So
Thank you.
So how'd you come up with that song?
So that song, it's actually I haven't really shared the story to this song, but before I got married, I I asked my husband, I was like, do you ever want to get married? You know, we weren't not engaged or anything yet. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And I thought someday I want to get married, I'm ready for the next step. And he's like, no, I don't think I ever want to get married. And I remember I felt sick to my stomach. I was like, what? I want to marry you. Like in my head, I didn't say anything that moment. I just wanted to hear his side of it. I'm like, I believe in marriage, I believe in love and forever and all that. And he's like, I don't think I ever want to get married. And I remember I felt so sad that I wrote that song. And
Aw.
but we ended up getting married after the song. Maybe I talked him into
That's it.
it.
Oh man, you pulled an old Swifty on him, right? You started. Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, when you first started saying, when you guys got together that you originally were a mermaid and like in the movie Splash.
I was a mermaid. It
Actually,
just came.
there's actually a mermaid rum here in Florida. So we maybe have to try to get. So we'll have to get somebody from the group here, who's somebody from the Rum Society to sort of hunt that down for the mermaid. There's a mermaid rum here in Florida. So 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 what do you got? What you got any future plans for music?
So I do. I plan on recording a lot more music. I just last week, was it last week? Last week I recorded 3 new songs that I've written on instrumental. A producer sent me 3 beats that I could use, or quite a few beats. And I chose 3 of them that I liked. And I was like, I'm going to use these right now. I'm going to send you some stuff. So I recorded some new songs, and I'm hoping to keep on recording more and more music. And I just want to release a bunch of songs and have my music out there, and I love to perform and just kind of see where it goes. I'm going through open doors.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's what like how I want to see it. I want to go through those open doors.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great part of is, like we said, the creativity and just, you know, not sure where things are going to go. And then, you're probably like me, as you said, like at the salon where, you, you love what you do so much that you love talking about it. You love sharing it with people. And, I think I'm similarly talk about the podcast a lot. And as my wife tells me, I probably can talk to a wall too. But so yeah, are you familiar with air gigs?
What is that?
So air gigs, and I swear I talk about air gigs so much on this podcast that I wish they would actually like maybe sponsor the podcast or something. But anyway, free advertising or something. So airgigs.com. So air gigs is a place for musicians to search for other musicians. So like yourself, you're looking for a drummer or other musicians, and it's kind of like a I don't even want to say Tinder, but it's kind of like a Match.com. There we go, for musicians. Match.com for musicians. And so if you're looking for musicians to perform, what you could do is send your track, and then the musician that you hook up with and pay or whatever their rate is that's how you can collaborate and get music from other people to put into your solo project. So it's rather than trying to find a whole bunch of people to create a band around to make music, it's almost like a hired gun kind of musicians, probably something very similar to maybe who you work with on other occasions and so forth. But and then how I found out about air gigs was when I was in Nashville. The drummer from Rascal Flatts, Jim Riley, he actually he's on air gigs. So I think he may have raised his rate, but let's say for $150 an hour, you can get the Rascal Flatts drummer to come up with a drum track for you.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So there's a great opportunity for musicians to kind of find gig work, right? And things like that. And obviously there's other, things that go into how to match up your musician you're looking for or the idea, but you're just like, hey, here's what I got, put something to it. And then you can kind of go back and forth and so forth. So yeah, but Jim Riley does a lot of them, and he's a professional music drummer. So it's very easy for him to, knock some of this stuff out because he's a really good drummer and, he's a pro. So all right. So let's see here. Let's check here in the chat here. So we're holding off on our question about what her favorite rum is. Jag Pimp Bravo said after you just finished up the song there, that's in the chat there. Charlene says love wins. Marisol G Heart. Am I doing it right? I think is that how it goes? I don't know. Got my hands all messed up here. So Marisol, all right, checking in there. There you go. There you go. Sarah's got it. All right. I think we're caught up on the chats there. So let's lead up here into what will lead into the last song. So as we talked throughout the beginning of the podcast about how I learned about you was the Rum song, and the video is great. And all right, so what's the story behind this? Because if you're going to write about a song, about alcohol, there's got to be I'm sure a really good story. So,
well, I don't know. I hope it's not one of those you had to be there stories, but it was because I was having a really good night. I could really go back to that night. There was a hangout spot at one of my best friend's house. Her name's Alyssa, and it was the spot to go to. And we used to have
wait a minute.
fire.
Alyssa just joined in the chat.
Woo,
no,
really? I think I sent her the link. Okay. But we used to go and we would build a bonfire in her front yard all the time. And it was kind of, there wasn't going to be any cars driving by because it was in the middle of nowhere. So there shouldn't be anyone around. We could do whatever you want there and no one's going to bother you. There's not going to be, you could just get away with anything there. So we would build bonfires and drink and tell crazy stories and just be crazy kids. And one night we got a bottle of rum. You want me to say what kind of rum it was?
Sure, they don't sponsor, so go ahead.
It was Sailor Jerry's rum. And I think we were probably like 21, maybe. Okay, we were 21, right? And
Yeah,
so we had a
don't say
bottle.
anything incriminating.
We were 21, and we had the bottle of rum and Coke, and we were just sitting by the fire telling stories. And I just started singing this song. I remember we were just drunk, and I was just started singing rum, 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 rum around the fire. I shouldn't sing the whole thing, but pretty much all the lyrics of the song kind of happened. So a car drove by and we're like, what is that? Because, there's no cars around here. Why is there a car over here? So then we're kind of like, who's that? So I write in the beginning of the song, I kind of say, I say there's an engine growling across the street. Should we go there? I think they just got lost. We're just like, it kind of all happened in that moment. And this song I just kept writing it. And I don't know how else I should explain it without singing the whole song word for word. but really there's a part where I talk about vultures, and a lot of people ask me, how do you write that part? Well, when vultures circle around in the sky, they're usually going to drop down for their prey and eat, so over there sometimes you see them in her yard too. You're like, oh, are they going to get us? Or did they find food over there, or are they our friends now? I kind of sing about vultures. There's a part where I write about vultures in that song. But it was definitely a good night, and we were drinking rum, and we had no cares in the world. Like with the scary stories and the scary things that might have been around us, in the wilderness, we had rum, so everything was okay.
There you go. You heard it. We had rum, so everything was okay. I think that might have to be the title of this episode.
We have rum.
Everything's gonna be good. So before we get into that song, so I guess we can ask Greg's question here is this what's your favorite rum?
I'm not sure if I have a favorite rum. Maybe you can teach me more about rum.
Sure.
I do like rum and Coke, and I do like pina coladas. I do enjoy a good rum on the rocks, even just like that.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. I haven't tasted a lot of rums to choose which one would be my favorite.
Excellent. So there's definitely to give a shout out plug for fellow Florida Rum Society member and also fellow podcaster. There's a podcast called The Rumcast, and their recent episode, they just talked about building their own flight of rum. And, they had different ideas of, here's you start in this one, and kind of gradually get certain things. Because it's there's a lot, if you really were wanting to, delve into the world of rum, there's such a fascinating spirit, who gets excited about vodka, Nobody right now, unless you're, drinking Tito's maybe. Yeah. Or nobody gets excited about tequila until after. Initially they are, but then afterwards they're not. They no longer are. Bourbon, maybe, old fogey kind of thing. But rum has got such versatility. So, definitely we'll extend the invite to you if you want to join this society and learn more about rum. And there's a lot of folks
that would be great.
There's a lot. The cocktails are crazy. Tiki cocktails are about all that. So, without further, and that makes sense now about the video as you're explaining it, and then talking about how you came up with the song. The video is such spot on with the lyrics and everything you talked about. So
the video was really fun to record. I recorded at downtown Phoenix, so I got to go to a cool bar, record that, and they cut me off. They were like, no more rum for her.
There was no rum harm while making of this video. So Greg just tuned in and said rum lié. So this is I think that might be something if you're interested in to learn in the world of rum. There's something called like a sommelier. There's a rum lié that teaches you all about rum, teaches how to taste the vast differences between Jamaican rum and Guyana. Yeah, I can't even say it. Haitian rum. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of so forth. So yeah, so Greg is like your, probably, like I said, I've already told you, he's your biggest fan, right? So so yeah, we definitely can connect or over on Facebook or whatever about and learn more about rum if you want. So without, I guess, further ado, I think is everybody ready for the song that you all came here for? And the reason there's how we got to this episode of the podcast, right? So without further ado, this is Rum by Sara Maatouk.
Maatouk. Woohoo. Okay, here we go. There's an engine growling across the street. Should we go there? I think they just got lost. They took off revving to the sound of my drum. Beat was way off. Who cares? We've got rum. Sometimes whiskey gets too busy. But I swear we've got rum. Sometimes vodka's got us dizzy. But I swear we've got rum. Who cares what you're drinking? At least you got some. Who cares what you're thinking? Your thinking is done. Rum, 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 rum. Rum, rum. There's a bird that's doing circles round our heads. Maybe we dinner, or maybe we just friends. It circled smoothly to the strings that I struck. We were freaked out until we found rum. Sometimes tequila gets too crazy. Good thing we found rum. Sometimes red wine's kinda lazy. Good thing we found rum. Who cares what you're drinking? At least you got some. Who cares what you're thinking? Your thinking is done. Rum, 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 rum. Rum, rum. Rum, 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 rum. Who cares what you're drinking? At least you got some. Who cares what you're thinking? Your thinking is done. Rum, 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 rum. Rum, rum. Your thinking is done. Rum, 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 rum. Rum, 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 rum. Rum, rum. There's rum.
Very nice. Awesome. We need to get you some. All right, whoever's out there listening, because I know all the rum companies are listening. And even if it's Bacardi or Sailor Jerry, here's your spokesgirl. This is it right here. You need to give your girl a call. You need to get her hooked up, and she needs to be your. That needs this. Yeah, we need to work on that. We need to get this in some sort of commercial. Yes,
that would be awesome.
Yes, we got to work on that. So, all right, Greg, don't you know people? Come on, there's somebody in the chat
Greg.
who knows somebody. So that's
Thank you so much.
yeah, no, so and like you said, so who's is you're typically you mentioned that you have somebody who sends you beats. Who's
So with Rum, actually, there's a producer. His name's Steven Martinez. He found me on Instagram as well. He so I was posting videos of just singing. I would put I wrote this, and I would just record it and sing it a cappella with no music in the background and post it. And one day I got a message saying, "Hey, I noticed that you sing really nicely, and I would like to produce music for you if you need music." And I was like, man, that would be awesome. So I took him up on the offer. I recorded Rum. Actually, I took one take of Rum and I sent it to him, and he used it and he produced the music and everything and sent it back to me. And I was like, that's it, we're done. He was like, you don't want to re-record it or anything? And I was like, no, it sounds good. And that's how Rum was. And I've a couple songs that I've done with the same producer and a few that I've done with another producer from Instagram. So Steven Martinez is one of them, and Time Flex is the name of another producer that I work with. And I'm gonna see where I go from there. I'm open to opportunities and trying to go places with music. Definitely love music.
no, and that's great, and that is one of the cool things about, as much as I think most people have love-hate relationships with social media, is you can actually this is an instance where social media is did what it was everyone always hoped it would do, or it started out doing, right? Unfortunately, all the craziness that happens now, but people to connect that you would never connect with. We've had one of our alums, as we call it, Winnie. She's in Singapore, and she does collaborations and things, and so it's amazing how, right, the internet has brought us closer to be able to meet up with people with similar ideas and other things, rather than we were never known. So all the good that the internet is, there's unfortunately we know there's also the other side of it too. So that's pretty good. That's one thing I found very interesting about the songs is, the beats are just right on. They're just the right tempo, the right it's very vibing. Yes, for sure. So
Thank you.
yeah. So I know some folks, Greg says. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. That's one of I know you asked me if I have any future plans and goals. One of my main goal for music is to hopefully someday have music on commercials and movies, and because I want to write all kinds of songs, not a specific genre. I want to like kind of have one of each genre or a million. I don't know. I love music, all different genres, and I imagine scenarios with each song. I'm like, I got to see this in a video form. Or I've thought of that, the Rum, like, who wants me to be in their commercial?
Well, it's even with your video, right? I mean, okay, you're in a bar, but you definitely, I could see it I could see a video or in a movie where you're performing and there's sometimes musicians actually do get a chance to actually perform in the movie that the song is in, right? Which is, and I could, it's definitely a whole bar. It's a very, powerful songs and, soulful, right? So, all right. So, like I said, all right, I know some folks. All right, Greg. So we'll have her people talk to your people. So,
Awesome.
so all right, Sarah. So this is the part where you get to feel a little bit of pain here and pressure, right? Nope. And so this is part of the segment of the show, right? We call depends on if you're a drummer or rummer. So I'm not quite sure which way we're going to go with this one here, but since it is obviously rum was what the hook was for this episode, we're going to go with in 4 sips or less. So the way this works is these are first things that pop into your mind when I ask you. It could be yes or no, this or that, and so forth. Don't give too much thought into it, right?
Okay.
All right. So in 4 sips or less, neat or on ice?
On ice.
Okay. In 4 sips or less, what artist would you want to collab with?
Bruno Mars.
Okay. And that's perfect. And I don't know if you realize why I say that it's perfect that you said that. So Bruno Mars has a rum company.
Cool.
Yeah. So the name of the rum is called Selva Ray. So I'm sure it's probably if you got a Total Wine, you'd probably find it in Total Wine. It's like a kind of a very cylindrical kind of, I don't know, triangular. I don't know how to describe. It's a bottle, but it's not like this bottle. It's a bottle that kind of slopes up, kind of thing. I don't know, angles and stuff. Okay. Yeah, no, Bruno's got some great stuff, and especially the folks in the music that's behind him. In 4 sips or less, would you audition for American Idol?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but you haven't yet.
I I've done an audition when I was in San Antonio and I drove to Austin and I did the audition. I think that I can't do auditions anymore. I think you have to be 28 or younger. If I'm correct, don't quote me on that. I think
Okay.
you have to be 28 or younger to
Hmm.
do American Idol.
What's the one with Susan Boyle? Wasn't she or is that a UK? Oh, that's America's Got Talent. Is that what? Oh, the different. Oh, maybe there's. Yeah, I
I
don't
would do any of those. I'm down. I think that's all fun.
know. All right. So in 4 sips or less, while you're sitting, you being stuck in the back of the station wagon, the old family truckster. Who is your '80s band that you actually enjoy listening to while having to deal with your folks' music?
I like all of them, all the 80s music. You'd be like, what? She knows all the words to all these songs. I do. I know all the words.
Ooh.
I'd
I'm
have to say I like all of them.
all right. So for not giving me a single answer, then I'm going to ask the chat. Then we're not gonna wrap up the show here. So we'll throw it out there. So in the chat, it was like, all right, what '80s song do you want to hear Sarah sing?
Don't.
All
No.
right, it's
I didn't say I was good at singing them, but I know.
oh, I seriously I don't think you'd have a problem at all. No, so that's funny. So no, I appreciate it. That's again, kind of fun little mix up at the end there where we'd go through and talk to guests and find out a little bit more about them outside of the conversation we had. But I guess before we wrap up, Sarah, like I said, this segment of all the podcasts for March is for Women's History Month is everything you're doing. I think moms, mothers, they must have some type of time traveling capabilities like Hermione in the Harry Potter, where we don't know. I don't know how everybody gets it done, right? Obviously my wife's sitting here and she's a mom, and so there's lots of many things going on too, and I'm sure same thing is you got a lot of things going on, and you got a little guy and your business, your music, and all the other things in life, right? So yeah.
Oh, and rum. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, and rum, yes, yeah. Uh-oh. Yes, she said that's how we do it. This is how we do it. We drink rum all night. Yeah. So this is why I'm not allowed to do karaoke anymore, because I embarrassed her in a bar one night when, of course, all the professional karaoke people came in to sing their songs, and I get up there and I do Flock of Seagulls, I Ran So Far Away. And during the interlude parts where there's no singing, I'm doing my jogging and, because I'm running so far away, but it didn't make, like I said, the people that are professional take it serious, and then you got some idiot like me who shows up to, just have a good time. Right. So So, yeah, no. So as we wrap up here, I mean, for those that are listening, and kind of taking everything you've talked about tonight, message away. I guess what's like some sort of words of encouragement that you know for others that to say whether it's their dream, their passion, um, you know, a family, and all those things that you kind of can kind of say, hey, this is words of encouragement, I guess, or something like that.
Well, I believe that everyone can overcome whatever it is that could be in the way for them. Because life gets really hard sometimes, and you have to put things on pause or start over, or whatever you have to do. Like these past 2 years, they were hard. Some people think, oh, she must just be partying and singing and going all crazy on. Like, it's a lot of work being a mom and a wife and a daughter, and opening a business and even having a dog. Like you have to take care of other things besides just yourself and just your dreams. I don't wake up in the morning and let's work on music full time and go to the gym and be healthy and just what am I going to eat? Like, who cares what I'm going to eat? I got to feed the baby and make sure husband has lunch for work because he works crazy hours and all this. Yeah, life gets hard, but what I would like to say to encourage everyone is to just remember they're not alone, and in the world, in the struggle of life, and everyone's going through their own little thing, as they have to get ready and go to work in the morning, or they have to do this or they have to do that, but they're all going through their own thing. Something that helps me stay on track could be like just a simple to-do list could help me stay on track sometimes, just being organized in a way. um, but yeah, life can hit really hard, and it's okay to put other stuff on pause and make sure you got your priorities right. It's just you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah.
uh,
No, you're right, and I think that's kind of an important part. Is as we were talking about, the internet's made the world smaller. We can connect, but we're also sometimes very far away from each other, even our neighbors, right? And to be okay to ask somebody for help, or and you can't, and know when you can't do it all too. And but I mean, you're doing an awesome job, and like I said, I know for all the moms and working moms and that are out there. So but that's great. Thanks for the word. So hopefully, some few folks here. Before we wrap up here, we do have actually Jag Pimp in the chat said, I guess he took me up on my request for your karaoke song, and he put out their Guns N' Roses Mr. Brownstone. So
oh.
so Jag, we said we're gonna let Sarah off the hook. So maybe next time we can come back on maybe one of the Friday night happy hour shows that we do also on Facebook. Oh, you would have blown my mind there if you just started busting out.
Sorry.
Oh man, you got everybody all excited. So
Oh.
so oh man. So yeah, so where how can what where do you want everybody to go check your stuff out? On online,
Oh.
music, videos. What? So here's the shameless plug, the Sara commercial part, right? So
I definitely what's going on here? Am I back? Oh, there we go. I'm sorry about that. So I do have a website, saramaatouk.com, and on there it has a
oh. I think we may have lost Sarah. So just bear with us for a second here. So we'll go through here and hopefully Hopefully she joins us back. So, all right. Anyway, so let's see if we can answer a few questions here in the chat there. So Jag, that's definitely an interesting. My mom loves that song. So yeah, it's not the wrong Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses is definitely a great band, especially that era of which one, Charlie? You do it. Go up, Sarah. Admit. There you go. All right. Let's see if we're back now. All right. One second. All right.
Okay, now I'm in. Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
It's all right.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, because you mentioned a technical difficulty. I was like, oh, it's me. I'm gonna be the technical difficulty.
It's all good. Yeah, you were just getting ready to tell the world about where to check Sarah out, and you went away.
So I do have my Soulful Sara is actually the name of my YouTube channel. So that's Soulful Sara. That might be the easiest thing to remember and the easiest thing to spell, Soulful Sara. And then Sara Maatouk, my last name is Maatouk. So it could be a little tricky to find my music if you don't spell it right, because I'm not, Bruno Mars or Britney Spears or, anyone that's easy to. You just put the one letter and the whole name pops up. Like
Right,
you
yeah.
have to type my whole name still. So Sara Maatouk on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere that you listen to music. I tried to make sure that my music's on all music platforms. So wherever you normally listen to music, hopefully you could find my songs by searching Sara Maatouk.
Great. So definitely, yeah. So you're listening in the chat. Go download Sarah's music, support a musician. And, I think that's a great thing about having Apple Music is, it's so easy now to just kind of play, the music and so forth. So I don't know how the music streaming stuff works and how you make money off of it. And it's a mystery. And I always hear everybody complain about Spotify. So I don't know if Apple Music is any better, but.
I haven't had enough downloads to know yet. How it feels to get paid for music, but someday I hope my music makes it big and people get to hear it, and maybe I'll get paid someday with the music.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get in this commercial here. Yes, for sure. That's it.
Yeah.
So just remember, folks, you just remember Sarah. Sarah, remember us when you become a big rum commercial person.
Oh my goodness.
So before we
awesome.
go though, we do have one last thing here, Sarah. So, part of we make it through the podcast, right? So everybody, at the end of it, this is part of our, everybody becomes part of our. Sorry, not hard to see.
Is that a T-shirt?
That is a T-shirt there. That is you are now part of the Drums and Rums alums. So,
that's awesome.
So you're a part of this group here, and then our nice little tagline on the back there, where the backbeats meets the spirits.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
So, and again, like I said, I call everybody alum, Drums and Rums alums. I try to make sure everyone's, I try to help support and tag me on stuff as much as possible to share everybody's stuff. And again, bring this eclectic group of people together, people that are making rum, people that are musicians or drummers and from wherever all over the world that have joined in on this podcast that, here we'll hit a full 2 years here in March. So we're nearing 100 episodes. So it's been great. And the best part is I get to meet people like you and that I would have probably never known and learned about, if it wasn't for the podcast. So,
well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, Cynthia. Yep, Cynthia Torres. I love her music. All right, thank you. And got a few folks here. Women have to take care of everyone and then themselves. So got a lot of good a lot of good folks here in the chat. And then I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. So Sarah, yeah, let's definitely we'll stay in touch here. And this episode I know this is the first where we actually got to premiere a podcast before the audio episode comes out. So So you get a chance to also then listen a week from tomorrow when this episode with Sara will drop on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you listen to your stuff. Check out Club Tiki, clubtikico.com. You get a buy 2 4-packs and you get free shipping on it there. You know, we are an affiliate. So again, even if you purchase some of this hard cocktail in a can, pina colada, and a blue Hawaii, again, we're an affiliate. We make a little bit of money off of it. So that's, you know, hey, we're all squirrels trying to find the nuts, right? So, and then just definitely appreciate it. Again, thank you, Sara, for coming on. Thank you for taking this random invite. This random invite, some guy who
Love
was
it.
like, "What, you want to talk to me about this rum song? Rum and yeah." So,
Well, thank you for having me.
you got it. All right, Sara, you have a great night, and hopefully I didn't interrupt too much of your evening too much.
Thanks again. Thank you, guys.
All right, good night.
Am I a rummer or a drummer?
You're a rummer.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.